Ready. Play.
Imagine a world-class women's tennis tournament in the Philippines, a WTA 125 event. Well, that dream may soon become a reality. The country is now in talks to host its first ever WTA 125 tournament. What does that mean for Filipino tennis, local players, fans, and the future of the sport in the archipelago? Well, let's dive in. First of all, I think we can't ignore the Alex Eala effect, which is obviously taking the tennis world, particularly in that region, by storm with her unbelievable performances in 2025. So we're going to explore this groundbreaking development that the Philippines is in discussions to host its first WTA 125 tournament, tentatively called the Philippine Women's Open. So in this video, we're going to look at what a WTA 125 event is, what's driving the push in the Philippines, key figures in the timeline, impacts and challenges, and what this means for stars such as the aforementioned Alex Eala, as well as other aspiring players. Well, what is a WTA 125 tournament? The WTA 125 series sits just beneath the main tour levels 1,500 and 250. It typically features a 32-player main draw plus qualifying rounds with a prize money of $125,000. Sometimes you'll even hear it called a WTA 125K, for instance. It offers valuable ranking points and exposure for players just below the top tiers. For many nations, hosting a WTA 125 is a stepping stone toward attracting larger tournaments in the future. Let's have a look at the Philippine proposal of who and why. Talks began in a meeting held on September 29th of this year between John Ray Tiangco, that's the Navotas Mayor and PHILTA Secretary General, PHILTA being the Tennis Association in the Philippines, and Patrick Gregorio, who is chairman of the Philippine Sports Commission. We saw them mentioned in the social media post today. They floated the idea of staging the WTA 125 Philippine Women's Open between January 26 and February 1st of 2026, so just a few months away. That would place it in the second week of the Australian Open and will be an opportune moment for players that exit that tournament early, in the first couple of rounds, for instance, to hop on a plane and get over to the Philippines. One strategy is to open the historic Rizal Memorial Tennis Center courts to the public and to invest in a Philippine tennis center in New Clark City. What are the goals? Well, to give Filipino players more opportunities to compete at higher levels at home, as well as abroad, of course. And then inspire grassroots growth and fan engagement and elevate the Philippines' reputation on the international tennis map. Well, what about the Alexandra or Alex Eala effect and other domestic talent? Alexandra Eala is the country's rising tennis star, captured the singles title at the WTA 125 event in Guadalajara recently and becoming the first ever Filipina to win a title at that level. Her historic climb has included becoming the first Filipino to beat a former Grand Slam champion in Yelena Ostapenko, but then also repeating that feat later in Miami against Iga Swiatek. Hosting a WTA 125 at home might well offer a chance for Eala if she doesn't go deep in Australia and other local talents to compete before home fans without that travel burden. More than that, it provides visibility, experience, and a stage for the next Eala, youth players aiming high. Well, what are the potential benefits and opportunities that this tournament might bring? Player development. Direct access to high-level competition for domestic players and wildcards for local players, helping reduce barriers. Of course, there's the fan and media engagement. Tennis fans get to watch international players live, boost in media coverage, sponsorships and broadcasting, economic and tourism boost, of course. Visitors, hotels, local businesses benefit from that. Tennis infrastructure uplift as well cannot be ignored, with upgrades to courts, facilities, and training centers, as well as the long-term growth of the sport in the Philippines. Well, what about national pride and inspiration? Of course, it could well provide a role model for younger athletes and showing that world-class events can happen in the Philippines. So it might just go beyond tennis even. What about the challenges and considerations? Well, there's obviously the logistics and costs. Hosting at WTA standard demands world-class facilities, court surfaces, lighting, player amenities, and staffing. I think it's pretty certain, of course, these will be on hard courts. Maybe that will make it a little easier to manage. Then you've got the sponsorship and funding. Well, sustained financial backing is critical. Prize money, operations, broadcasts, they all need reliable backers. Calendar and scheduling. Well, the January-February window must fit into the global WTA schedule and attract player participation. I think that does do that in terms of, obviously, there are a lot of tournaments happening in South Asia as well as Australasia at that time of the year. Venue readiness. Rizal Memorial and other facilities may require upgrades to meet WTA criteria. Then there's the sustainability. One-off tournaments are not enough. Organizers must ensure consistency to keep momentum. Who knows? Maybe even have a challenger event there too. Of course, the other thing as well is, what about if Eala isn't fit or does go deep in Australia and therefore can't make it? Well, that's a bridge I'm sure that they will cross if they have to come to it. Here's a tentative roadmap and what to expect. Late 2025 will be the final decision-making, upgrading of facilities, securing funding, sponsors, and WTA approval process. The 26th of January to the 1st of February, the proposed dates for the Philippine Women's Open confirmed. Alongside, the country is already set to host an ITF Junior 30 tournament in late November to December 7th, bringing in promising junior talent. Keep an eye on announcements from the aforementioned PHILTA, that is the Tennis Association in the Philippines, as well as the PSC and the WTA. Also watch for infrastructure work at the Rizal facility and in New Clark City. Well, what could all this mean? Well, if realized, the first WTA 125 in the Philippines would be a historic landmark, not just for tennis, but for sports culture in the country. It signals ambition, confidence, and belief in the next generation of players. For fans, it brings the global sport closer to home. For athletes, it opens doors. And for the tennis community, it's a statement. The Philippines is ready to be a serious player in the world of tennis. Thank you for watching. What do you think? Will the Philippines pull this off? Could we see top players competing in Manila soon? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, as always, make sure to give us a follow on the socials. Talking Tennis on TikTok, at Talking Tennis TT on Instagram, and at Talking Tennis 22 on X. Thanks for joining, and see you soon. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.